You know that voice in your head, the one that's like a noisy roommate who just never ever shuts up, constantly worrying, judging, replaying the past? Yeah, you're not alone. Today, we're going to dive into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. It's basically a guide that promises this really radical path to peace by showing us how to escape the prison of our own minds. So let's get right into it.
All right, so to really get the core message of this book, we've got to start right where Tolle does, with this simple but honestly brilliant little story. It's a parable that perfectly sets the stage for, well, everything else we're about to uncover. Okay, so picture this. There's a beggar, right? And for over 30 years, I mean, think about that, 30 years, he's been sitting on the exact same old box. It's just part of his life, a fixture, something he doesn't even think about anymore. Then one day, a stranger walks by and asks this question that's so simple, it's almost ridiculous. He just says, "Ever looked inside?" And you can imagine the beggar just scoffs, right? Like, why would I do that? It's just an old box I sat on. But the stranger's kinda persistent. So the beggar, probably just to get him to leave, pries open the lid, and he cannot believe his eyes. The box is literally overflowing with gold. He's been sitting on this unbelievable treasure his entire life and had absolutely no idea. And this story, this perfectly captures Tolle's central point. He's saying we are that beggar, right? We spend our entire lives searching outside of ourselves for little bits of happiness, for validation, for fulfillment, all while we're sitting on this incredible inner treasure, this deep, unshakable peace that he calls being. Okay, so that raises a pretty big question, right? If we all have this inner gold, what's stopping us from actually finding it? Well, Tolle's argument is that it's something we're so completely identified with, we don't even see it. It's that constant chattering voice in our heads. And what's really fascinating is how Tolle himself stumbled upon this. You see, after years of really deep depression, he had this one thought repeating in his mind over and over again until it just triggered this massive awakening. The thought was, I cannot live with myself any longer. And then, all of a sudden, the pure strangeness of that thought just hit him. It was like, wait a minute, if I cannot live with myself, then there must be two of me, right? There's the I, the one who's observing, and then there's this self that's so unbearable. And that was it. That was the moment he saw the separation between his true awareness and that voice in his head. And this is absolutely crucial. That unbearable self he was talking about, that's what Tolle calls the ego. It's not who you really are. It's more like a phantom self, one that's built entirely from a constant stream of thinking, memories, labels, and judgments. The huge mistake we all make is believing that this mental chatter is us. So, how does this false self, this ego, even survive? Simple. It lives in time. It digs through your past to build its identity. You know, all your stories, your regrets, your grievances. Then it projects all hope for salvation into the future. Oh, I'll finally be happy when I get that promotion or when I move. And this obsession with past and future totally covers up the only thing that's actually real, the present moment. So, according to Tolle, this prison we're in is built from the illusion of time. But here's the good news. The key to escape is surprisingly simple. This right here, this is the core teaching of the entire book. And yeah, it sounds simple, but it's a truly radical idea. The present moment is all you ever have. The only access you have to life, to that inner treasure we talked about, is right now. And this isn't just some nice philosophical idea, it's a direct, tangible reality you can feel. I mean, really think about that for a second. The past? It's just a memory trace that you're accessing right now. The future? It's just a mental projection that you're imagining, you guessed it, right now. Your entire life unfolds in one place and one place only, this present moment. There literally is nothing else. Now, Tolle isn't saying you should throw away your calendar and just stop planning things. Of course not. He makes this really brilliant distinction between clock time and psychological time. Clock time is practical, right? You need it to set appointments, plan a trip. But the real problem is psychological time. That's the constant mental obsession with the past and future that creates basically all of our anxiety, regret, and stress. Okay, so we've got the problem, the ego living in psychological time, and we've got the solution, the present moment. But how do we actually do that? How do we make this practical? Well, Tolle offers a really simple but powerful technique to get started. He calls this practice watching the thinker, and it's pretty straightforward. Step 1, just start listening to that voice in your head as if you were listening to someone else talk. Step 2, be there as the witnessing presence. That just means you notice the thoughts without getting sucked into their drama. This leads to step 3, which is super important. Don't judge what you hear. Don't condemn it. Just listen. And when you can do that, you get to step 4. You'll actually notice the thought starts to lose its power over you. You create this space, this separation. There's the thought, and over here, there's you, watching it. So the very moment you become the witness, the thought kind of fizzles out. It loses its grip on you. And what happens is, a little gap opens up in that constant stream of thinking. Tolle calls this no mind. And it's not like you're in a trance or zoned out. It's actually a state of high alertness, but it's also deeply still. And right there, in that gap, that's where you find it. The peace that was always there, just buried under all the noise. So, what's the end game here? What's the ultimate result of this practice? What happens when we actually learn to anchor ourselves in the now and step out of that endless river of thought? Well, Tolle makes it really clear that the goal isn't to achieve some mystical superhuman state. He actually loves the Buddha's simple definition of enlightenment, which is just the end of suffering. That's it. It's the end of the pain that we create for ourselves by being trapped in our minds. And the benefits? They're huge. You're finally free from that inner tormentor, that critic. You tap into this deep sense of peace that doesn't care what's happening on the outside. You find a joy that just comes from being, not from getting something you want. You get off that roller coaster of pain and pleasure, and you discover your real life. That vibrant, buzzing aliveness that's always there, right underneath the day-to-day drama of what he calls your life situation. So Tolle leaves us with this ultimate test. It's a question you can ask yourself anytime, anywhere to see if you're present or lost in your head. It's this: is there joy, ease, and lightness in what you are doing right now? If the answer is no, that's just a sign that your mind and psychological time is covering up the present moment. And that simple question, that's your invitation to come back, to step back into the now, because that's the only place life is ever really happening.